Welcome to Wesley Impact. This is the program where we like to talk about all things Wesley Mission, looking at an area of our work, speaking with our staff and friends, and also sharing with you a section of my sermons filmed in the Wesley Theatre. Across New South Wales, Wesley Mission looks after and manages over 500 tenants in community housing. Some of our tenants are young people who need a place to live. Some are people transitioning from crisis accommodation into independent living. Others are people who just need a hand up for a short period of time. At Wesley Mission, housing is not just about providing a bed and a roof over people's heads. When we have the privilege of supporting someone, we look at the whole person and do whatever we can to meet underlying needs, including emotional, physical, and mental health. We also look to develop practical life skills that help those we serve to achieve their goals. We take this work seriously, and community engagement is a focus within Wesley Community Housing. Our team value building relationships with our tenants, and we regularly host community engagement days. Here's the first of a two-part series where you'll join us at one of our community engagement days run in Miller in southwestern Sydney.
We're at Miller, Western Sydney. We're having a community engagement event and we're cooking brunch for the guys here, bacon, eggs, sausages. Community engagement is where the tenants come together to engage with each other to build community.
Hong, do you want to help take some of this off?
Yes.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Today we have students from the uni studying social work. We also have Cass, who's part of my team, and we have Hong. And also we will have Darren from the Royal Botanical Gardens coming today. He helps us with gardening for the tenants. We do gardens, and today I think he's doing a bit of a surprise, putting together a table so people can join together in community.
Here, do you want to take these one and I'll take the barbecue?
If we work together as a team, then the tenants see that we engage well together, so therefore they will feel comfortable with us as well. How are you, David? You're looking so well today.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yes, you're feeling good?
I am actually. I'm feeling very good.
Has anyone told you about the flat packs being made up? Because the guys were supposed to come and clean, but now what they're going to do is spend the time that they were going to do just doing a bit of cleaning to put the flat packs together for you.
Ah.
So that's exciting, isn't it?
My name's Darren and I work for the Royal Botanic Gardens. We partner with Wesley Mission. They made contact with us. The program that I'm involved in is called Community Greening. This is an outreach program, so we go out into the community, we work with people who live in social housing. At the moment I'm coming to this complex once a month, so I meet with Lisa and the team from Wesley Mission. And we come out, we support community, we work side by side with them, and we promote the health benefits of gardening and horticultural therapy.
What have we bought for us?
We're making a table today. Hope you've got your painting skills with you.
Oh, I've got some skills with me, but let's see what.
It's all in the wrist.
Thank you.
Well, this is fancy.
Yeah.
So I'm the cook today, am I?
Hang on. Chef, the chef.
Plan for today is to build a table that the guys can use in the garden. The table's been put together by Tallerwood Men's Shed. They've put probably about 95% of the table together already, and we're going to finish it off today, find a nice spot to put it in the garden, and hopefully they'll be able to use it in their day-to-day activities and when we run our gardening workshops and other bits and pieces.
Here's the gloves, Indy. Yep, everyone right?
Oh my God.
Too tight, there are more. What we need is somebody to chop onions. We need actually another table so that we can put it near the barbecue.
Lisa is the glue that holds us all together. So Lisa connects us as a team and the tenancy in the office, but then she also connects with the tenants and she's often the bridge that links the two.
Yeah. Oh, thank Thank you.
Depending on the day, I am the organiser. So in the context of Community Housing Day, that could be as little as organising the buses to get somewhere, as much as, organising the day from the start in terms of if it's a big production, like we're all going to a particular hall or the Royal Botanic Gardens for a tour. It really depends on the context of the day, but I organise from the little things to organising the shopping list, to organising the tenants, to organising the team. So in terms of if we don't have sausages and we don't have milks and all those little things, we don't have a day that's going to function and going to work. And at the end of the day, we've done a lot of work to make sure the tenants are happy and feel engaged here and feel connected. And it's as much as getting them out to the smell of onions that's important. So if we don't have onions, there's no onion smell, they're not coming out. So I'm just marking down who's actually here, how they're going. I'm talking about what they're looking forward to today, how they're feeling, what they're looking forward to, what we can do in the future maybe. Because at the end of the day, community engagement is about those connections and making sure that they're feeling good about the event. And if they're not, we try to figure out what's going on and if we can do something else and make it better. Connection and community is so important, especially to things like mental health. Finding time to make that sense of community again and just have a chat to your neighbour. For some people, that chat to their neighbours is all they're going to have that day. So we want to make sure that those chats and that interaction and that connection is happening when we're not here.
So what we're going to do is paint that black, the slats to go inside this. I love connecting with people. I actually am quite shy, but everybody says I don't look shy, but that's because I try to go out of my way to make people feel comfortable, and I try to do to others what I'd have them do to me. This is like a little high tea. We have lemon slice, chocolate cupcakes and vanilla cupcakes. We have strawberries, chocolate biscuits, caramel biscuits, which the guys really love. We have these little cream cakes, a cherry ripe slice. We put on a high tea because the guys like to have something special. This is something that they probably wouldn't normally have every day. When they come out and join with us, have a nice cappuccino, which they wouldn't normally have in their own homes, they can come and have a cup of tea and a nice cake or a bit of fruit. I feel like it's really important for the tenants' mental health and also just for their well-being. Because when you connect with a person, you feel cared for and loved. And I also feel like we're being hospitable to them, serving them, making them coffees, giving them food, so they feel loved and cared for by us as a team. Oh yeah, this is exciting, guys. A new table.
And we're just going to put it just here for now. That'll do. Put our painters. Who's painting?
Come on, Bruce. Come over with me, please.
It's going to need
Over
two
this
coats.
way. Here.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put
Unit.
a coat of paint on all these slats. And we want to try and do the three sides. So we've obviously got the top here, and then we'll try and do the two sides here. But we're not going to worry about painting the bottom. Yeah, mate, go for your life. Paint away.
Watch out for your shirt.
George is a very experienced painter. I've seen his painting skills before. Can you get in there, George? Pretty much when we go out into the community, we encourage people to work with us, so we work side by side. It's a real team effort.
One for you.
Both groups come along with the goal of supporting the residents. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Thank you so much.
We're going to do two coats, George. Yeah, it's a bit streaky.
Bruce, that's fantastic.
Righto, Lisa.
Okay, Hong, be a
those
sharer.
painted ones we're going to put in between these two bags.
No, I know it's been good this morning.
See, it's a bit blobby there. We just make sure we thin that out.
Oh.
Get it happening. We don't have to rush. We can take our time.
It's going to take forever.
No, it's not. We'll probably have some brekkie and a bit of a feed and a bit of a chat, and then we can come back and put on the second coat. Today we're building a table, which is not usually associated with gardening, but that's something that's going to be incorporated into the gardening program. So the guys that live here will be able to use it when they're doing some gardening, when we're running workshops, even when they have their morning teas and stuff, they can use that to put their food and drinks and bits and pieces on. Hey, Peter's here.
Peter, look who
The job's
it is.
finished and he's got the paintbrush.
Look who it
These.
is. This is Jane and Peter. They're both tenancy workers for this area. Dry cleaning? Just don't get it on your clothes. Who's going to pay for my dry cleaning bill? It's not shiny black.
Well, sometimes I might go to a complex and there'll be people coming together who have never met each other, but they've been living side by side for 6 months, a year. So it just provides that opportunity to bring people together. You know, there's a lot of people here today and it's all a little manic at the moment. It's fantastic, and hopefully when it's all put together and it's finished, they'll all be happy with what they've achieved.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
We'll see the second part of our Community Engagement Day with our Wesley Community Housing team next week. Get in touch with us if we can be of any help to you or a loved one in any way. No problem is too big and nothing is impossible for God. Now, Lisa Ellis is our Operations Manager for Wesley Community Housing Work and joins me in the studio today. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks, Stu.
Now, you and I, we were down at Miller for that Community Engagement Day. Share with us why it's so important for us to do that sort of work with the people we have the privilege of serving.
I think it's important because it creates a sense of community. Often these tenants do not have family that they can interact with or have a meal with or share what's going on with their life. So we get together with the tenants and connect them to each other, but also connect them to us. And it's quite a leveler, especially for the staff, that the tenants feel we're just like them. And I think that builds then their confidence and their self-esteem.
A lot of the people we have the privilege of serving, they face some unique challenges. Why is it important for us to see beyond the challenges to the unique individuals that we do draw alongside?
Yeah, so I think every individual has something to offer in their life. Even if they feel that they don't have something to offer, they do have something to offer. And sometimes it could be just the encouragement that they provide to their neighbour, that they might take them down to get the shopping, or they might take them to an appointment, and then they can see that they can help others. They're people, just like we are.
Absolutely. Now, let's just step back for a moment and get some basic facts. I mean, what is Wesley Community Housing? What is it that you and your team do?
Yep, so we manage a range of properties. So the bricks and mortar, we have nearly 300 properties and over 400 tenancies across the Mid-North Coast, Central Coast, Newcastle and Sydney. That we provide the property, we manage the tenancy, a bit like a real estate with a little bit friendlier, and then we do engagement like the day at Miller with the tenants to bring that community aspect and help them feel loved and supported.
One of the things I loved about that day at Miller was there's other partnerships we're engaged in. Talk to us about the table that's been built down there. I know in other places where we work as well.
Yep, so we've got a partnership that we work with the Royal Botanic Gardens, the Community Greening Program. So Darren and Brendan. So Brendan's more up at Newcastle and Darren's down here in Sydney. And Darren worked with the local men's shed to build a table for the tenants, because we see the importance of sharing a meal, but also for these tenants, especially that live in studio apartments, that they can have somewhere that they can connect with each other, but also connect with family or friends, because we find that if we can sit down and we can share a meal with them, that's a real equaliser. And you get to know people and you find all sorts of things out about people when you just sit down for a meal with them.
Yeah. 300 properties, 400 tenants, many hundreds of people you're serving. How many people in your team?
So there's me and 9 others in my team, so we're quite
It's
small.
punching above your weight. And what sort of work are they doing?
So they manage the properties, so the asset management, so the bricks and mortar. We have a couple of tenancy officers and some tenancy support officers that work with them that do the leases, make sure they're paying their rent. We have a support team that then works in the office, doing all of the getting the finances together and the reports and managing our system. And then we have our community engagement officer, also called Lisa, who does all of that connection and building and belonging for the tenants and works really closely with the community greening program.
Now, there's lots of different community housing organisations, fantastic, doing wonderful work. What's our point of difference? What's the difference that Wesley Community Housing brings?
So one thing is that we provide a much larger proportion of our tenancies are at the shorter end, transitional and crisis. So people that are directly coming out of homelessness.
So doing it really tough.
Yes, and really at that first point where they're needing housing and they've got a range of other challenges going on. And the other thing is probably that we connect with people and we see every single tenant, no matter what they're going through, has something to offer, whether that's to their community, to their neighbours, to Wesley Mission, there's always something that they've got to offer. And I think sometimes other organisations it becomes quite transactional in that it's very much the real estate model. So we try and keep the people at the heart.
Yeah, it's a people business.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to know you over the last 6 months a little bit, and your passion for what you do, your team and the people you serve, that's really evident. What is it that motivates you?
Well, I've always been probably involved in some kind of social community kind of service. So when I was younger, I was in the Girl Guides, and then at school, I was the person that was the mentor. So, you know, I think that just because I'm blessed doesn't mean that if someone's life circumstances, they shouldn't have opportunities. So that probably really drives me and inspires me. You know, sometimes it's those small things you hear from a tenant that you think, wow, that was a big step for them, like something as simple as catching the trains.
I mean, I've seen firsthand, I've heard firsthand the impact of the work that you and your team do. Down at Miller, you know, one of the wonderful guys down there, his first words to me were, "This place saved my life." That was so profoundly moving for me. I want to thank you for the work you do, the passion you bring to it. You're making a real difference. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Stu.
I think people are amazing. We can turn dark to light. We can fly through storms. We can change worlds, but we can't always do it alone. If you need help, we could work together. Find out more at wesleymission.org.au. We are here for you.
Please be in touch if Wesley Mission can help you or a loved one in any way. We are here for you. In my sermon series that we're working through at the moment, the overall theme is the purpose for which Wesley Mission exists, and that is to continue the work of Jesus Christ in word and deed. Last week, I finished by saying that every number has a name, every name has a story, and that every story matters to God. And because every story matters to God, every person and their story, they matter to us. This week I pick up on the theme of having soft hearts. That is, hearts that are softened with the compassion of Jesus.
You might hear me say we need soft hearts. Well, isn't a soft heart a weak heart? No, a soft heart is a strong heart, just the sort of strength our world needs right now. A heart that's moved with compassion, that sees need and has to act. But we see that Jesus' heart was softened with compassion, love for others, but it was also softened in another movement. He would move to the margins, but Jesus would always move to the mountains as well. I mean, there's this constant cycle of moving to the margins and moving to the mountains. And when he moved to the mountains, Jesus was going there to reflect, to pray, to replenish. It was this constant cycle of compassionate action and prayerful reflection. This constant movement of giving out and then drinking in, of his well being constantly replenished by time away with his Father. Now, right to the end, Jesus never experienced compassion fatigue. Even on the cross, he saw need at the foot of the cross. He saw need either side, and his compassionate love reached out to others because his well of compassion never ran dry. Because of this constant movement between the margins and the mountain. Jesus knew that you can't lead people to a well you're not drinking from yourself. For us to continue the work of Jesus Christ in word and deed, Jesus' pattern needs to be our pattern. This constant movement between the margins and the mountains, between action and reflection. And one of the things that I've discovered, and many of you have heard me talk about this over recent weeks at length, is that Wesley Mission across our more than 100-year history, we've been at our very best, not when we've been our most active, but our most prayerful. When all that we do is undergirded, fueled and fired by prayer. And so my desire is that we would continue to be a people of soft hearts, touched by the compassion of Jesus and restored and replenished by constant time with him in prayer. That we would be people of soft hearts. That we'd also be people with sharp minds, minds focused on working for justice. Wesley Mission is a charity. I mean, we're registered with the ACNC. We have DGR status. But we're more than a charity. We're so much more than a charity. We're guerrilla grafters after all. We're agents of transformation. We're participating in the irresistible revolution of Jesus in the world. And so our call, as the Nazareth Declaration gives voice to, is to give voice to the voiceless, to empower the poor, to strengthen the oppressed. Gospel ministry, holistic gospel ministry, means that loving our neighbours means dismantling the systems that oppress them. Jesus was forever annoying the hell out of religious, political, and economic leaders. In fact, that's what got him killed. He was not afraid of taking direct action. Just think of the time he entered into the temple at Jerusalem, which is the centre of Jewish economic, political and religious life. He goes into the temple this one day. He sees the money changers whose exploitative business practices ripped off the poor, and he goes up. He doesn't walk by. He overturns the money changers' tables because enough is enough. He had to protest. He had to say something. He had to do something. And our call is the same. To have sharp minds, minds focused on working for justice. We need compassionate, soft hearts, but we need sharp, justice-focused minds. You know, I read just this last couple of weeks that in the 6 months up to the end of December in New South Wales, $2.17 billion was lost on pokie machines. $2.17 billion. In Canterbury, Bankstown and Fairfield LGAs, that figure was $384 million. Can I say, and I say it deliberately, the gambling industry is a perverted and demonic form of wealth distribution. It leads to staggering suffering, and I don't need to tell many of you in the room or watching, because you know it, you've seen it, you've experienced the people you serve or people in your own families. It's critical that we continue to meet the needs of those caught in the insidious trap of pokie machine and online gambling addiction. But it's equally critical that we stand with them in advocating for oppressive systems to be dismantled. Love demands it.
Next week, I'll continue to develop the theme of having sharp minds that are focused on working for justice. There is so much that we can do together in our community to walk alongside people the way that Jesus did. And here at Wesley Mission, we're committed to doing just that. If you have any questions about the Christian faith or anything that I've said on the program today, please get in touch. My team and I, we would love to hear from you and answer any questions you may have. Our contact details are on the screen now.
At
At Wesley Mission, we see kindness change kids' worlds. You can find out more at wesleymission.org.au. We are here for you.
Thanks so much for being a part of Wesley Impact. I hope you can join me again next week when we'll see the second part of our Community Housing Engagement Day documentary. And I'll continue my sermon series talking about why God calls us to have hard feet that are ready to embody the good news of the gospel. As always, if Wesley Mission can be of help to you or a loved one in any way, please get in touch. Our contact details are on the screen now. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, same time, same place, next week. Every blessing to you and to your family.